Good morning, participants. We'll start in a couple of minutes. Ma'am, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Shall we start, ma'am?
Yes, please.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Can we start, ma'am? Happy morning and warm greetings from the organizing team for the ATP sponsored ATAL FDP on advancement. Advancement in electric vehicle technology, a paradigm shift. It's been one opportunity for us to join again for this ATAL FDP. May now request Dr. J. Karpagam, Professor, Department of FDP and Organizing Committee Member of ATAL FDP to welcome the gathering.
Good morning to one and all joined here. I welcome you all for the 5-day FDP on electric vehicle technologies. It gives me immense pleasure in welcoming our beloved Principal Ma'am, Dr. M. Akila, for accepting our invitation to preside over the function. Welcome you, ma'am. It's a great honor to welcome our chief guest and resource person of today's function, Engineer S. Selvakumar, Chief Executive Officer, Power Projects, Chennai. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. I am happy to welcome our head of the department, Dr. V. Kumachinian, to felicitate the gathering. Welcome you, sir. I take this opportunity to welcome the participants from various parts of the country. Welcome you all. So, as like the title goes, advancement in electric vehicle technology, a paradigm shift, is really a paradigm shift from the IC engines to the electric vehicles, all because of the new technology evolved in energy storage systems, infrastructure, charging infrastructure, and in the advent of power conversion systems, etc. So I am sure that this 5 days FDP gives more insight on all the above topics. So I request the participants to attend all the sessions and make use of the expertise and the knowledge shared by our resource persons. So with this words, on behalf of management, CE sir, Principal ma'am, HOD, and on own behalf, I welcome you all for joining this session. Thank you. Once again, I welcome you all. Thank you.
Great leaders don't set out to be a leader. They set out to make a difference. It's never about the role always, but about the goal. I welcome Dr. V. Kumachinian, Head Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering and Coordinator of ATAL FDP Electrical Vehicles to felicitate the gathering.
Thank you, sir. A warm good morning to one and all present over this ATAL FDP. So it's really a great pleasure in welcoming you all. I once again joining hands with the Karpagam ma'am in welcoming our esteemed principal ma'am, Dr. M. Akila, and the chief guest, Selvakumar sir, for this ATAL FDP. And I once again welcome all the delegates from Pan India for this ATAL FDP. So when it comes to the ATAL FDP, we are all aware of that the Ministry of Education and the AICT is taking a big step towards the educating the faculty members and upskilling them. So parallelly, they are giving importance for the heavy industries ministries. And as far as this ATAL FDP is concerned, that is the advancements in electric vehicle technology, a paradigm shift. It's an upcoming area. Hence, we got this fund from the ATAL. So when it comes to the implementation of the electric vehicle, the year 2023, the year 2025, and the year 2030 is a milestone for the Government of India's initiative under the heavy heavy industry ministry. So already the government of India rolled out the FAME 1. Now they have rolled out the FAME 2, that is with the investment of 10,000 crore for the 3 years. So it's FAME is the acronym for fast adoption and manufacturing of electric vehicle. This mission is specifically for the India. So it's a national mission on the electric mobility. So as far as the growth of the transportation is concerned, it is around 17% on the year-on-year basis. When it comes to the 2023, it is planned to go for the 30% of the two-wheelers with the EV, and when it comes to the 2025, they are aiming for the 100% of the two-wheelers automobile industry with the EV. And by 2030, they are planning to go for the 50% of the four-wheelers with the EV, and including the heavy vehicle also, HCV also. And when it comes to the energy consumption, the 20% of the total energy generated in India goes to the transportation sector. And again, the energy consumption of this particular sector is on 8% to the 12% with respect to the petroleum imports, that is on the year-on-year basis. And when it comes to the penetration of the renewable energy due to the increased consumption of the industries, it is around 17%, and the electricity charges starts to decrease, and the solar energy cost comes around less than 2.5 rupees per unit, that is sub 2.5 rupees. And already the automotive industry, like the giants Mahindra, they tied up with the Reva and they introduced the model Mahindra Reva. Already Hyundai introduced the electric vehicle version. Tata also rolled out in the automotive exhibition, and already the Tesla has signed the agreement with the government of Karnataka, and they are going to establish the center at Bangalore. And the Niti Aayog, the premium body of the government of India, is giving a push to the lithium-ion import as well as for the manufacturing facility for the batteries. Hence, the efficiency of the batteries is on the rise, as well as the cost is decreasing as the years progressing. And the government of India ministries already give the emphasis for the utilization of the electric vehicles in all the sectors wherever possible. So with this, all the support from the government of India as well as the Ministry of Education, being an academicians, it is our responsibility to take up the technology to the students. Of course, they are going to be the leaders in the future manufacturing sector as well as for the IT industry. So being a faculty fraternity, we are supposed to take up this technology to the students by educating ourselves in this front. And definitely this forthcoming 5 days is going to be an eye-opening day for all of us. And the legends from the respective fields are going to give the deliberations on their inventions as well as on their progress in the particular domain. So definitely you are going to get the good input, and which is going to be very much useful for your research as well as for the knowledge disseminations to the young budding engineers. So with this, I congratulate all the coordinators and the team AAA of the KPR Institute of Engineering and Technology, Coimbatore, for providing an wonderful opportunity for all the participants across the India. And thanks for the opportunity. Thank you. Good luck to all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It doesn't matter where you go and what you learn. What matters most is what you share with yourself and the world. I now request Dr. R. Uttriswamy, Associate Professor, Department of EEE and Organizing Committee Member, ATAL FDP, to introduce the Chief Guest.
Good morning and warm greetings to one and all gathered here. On behalf of organizing team and my own behalf, I am very much honored and delightful to introduce our today's chief guest, Engineer S. Selvakumar Sir, CEO, Power Project Chennai. He has completed his master's degree in power system at Anna University in 2015. He has worked as an engineer in Power Research and Development Consultant Private Limited from 2006 to 2008. Then he served as an electrical engineer in Tata Consulting Engineers Limited, Bangalore from 2008 to 2011. He has associated with ABB Global Industries Limited, Chennai as a lead engineer from 2011 to 2019. Then he joined as an head engineer and CEO at Design Power Project, Chennai. He is a young and dynamic role model engineer for young budding engineers. He has completed many challenging assignments in power evaluation, power system studies, control and protection, relay setting, etc. He has coordinated with many prestigious projects, includes Mundra 4000 megawatt, 4.5 megawatt hydro projects, 6 megawatt thermal projects in Tuticorin. He has completed many challenging projects, including 750 MVA 3-phase 3-winding transformer design in Bangladesh, 150 megawatt design project in Indonesia. He has completed 100 megawatt project in Singapore. He has received Extra Miler Award for his excellence contribution for ETAP trainer and ISO implementation. He has completed many micro projects in Australia, Indonesia, Thailand, South Africa, etc. His international exposure includes Germany, Italy, Bangladesh, Singapore, Malaysia, Kuwait, Dubai, Sweden, and many more countries. His field of interest are microgrid energy storage, electric drive, electric vehicle infrastructure, grid planning, PSOC, power plant and substation design, integration of renewable energy, smart grid, and etc. We are very much happy to accept our invitation to deliver a topic on empowering EV in Indian roads, roadblocks, and way forward. Sir, please.
Thank you so much, Prasami sir, for inviting me, and I have to thank Akila Madam, Principal, KPR IET, HOD Triply, Kumar Chinayan sir, Karpaka Madam, and I guess means when I come to KPR, always physically, it's like a family where I could meet, say almost all faculties in the college. I have to read out all their names. So thank you so much for keep inviting me for all your college programs, whether it's a faculty development program or a student program. I always believe someone has introduced that fact they have told. It is not where you go. It is what you have and what you share to the world, and what you share with you. That's most important. So with respect to that, I after completing my BA, I always want to be a teacher or a professor. Unfortunately, for whatever may be the reason, I couldn't become an assistant professor or a professor, whatever may be the reasons. But now it's my privilege and pleasure to always come to such sessions and to share the little knowledge what I have to my academic professionals, those who are going to put up the foundation for how the world or how the India is going to be in the future. Like when we talk about specific to the topic electric vehicles, even today electric vehicle sales in India is not really encouraging. We have to accept the fact it's not really encouraging. Currently, we are selling about 4,000, 3,600 cars every year. Compared to 61% of the cars sold in Norway comes from electric vehicles. Imagine a comparison where the entire India with a huge population is selling just 4,000. That's approximately 300 cars a month. Compared to 61% of the electric vehicles which sold in Norway comes from the electric vehicles. Only car segment which I am talking. So we can talk a lot, but only one thing which I have to probably precisely tell the academicians is like in an industry, we may not have a time to probably anticipate the challenges, future problems, etc., and be ready for that solutions. We always focus on probably how to sustain the business, how to enhance the business, etc. But when it comes to the technology challenges, it's always an academic community, those who has to take a responsibility and drive it. So I'm looking at, rather than talking about the way forward, like roadblocks, if we talk, that gives, at least a problem statement for the people, those who are doing research in electric vehicles. Like battery disposal, cost of the battery, cost of the electric vehicles, charging infrastructure, and impact of this charging infrastructure, which is going to have an impact on the electricity boards, distribution companies, power quality issues, harmonics, availability and reliability. And probably if I'm using safety of the lithium-ion batteries, and do we have the lithium-ion batteries in India, which is not there, we have to import, and at what cost? So there are plenty of questions. So everybody thinking like this petrol stations going to be replaced by charging stations in 2-3 years or something like that, when we are in some sessions like this faculty development programs. we have to look at ourselves, understand where we are today, and probably means what say, if we have a target of 2025 or 2023 or 2027 or 2030, whatever it is, like means if we say like 30% of the vehicles in the road in 2030 should be electric vehicles. So then probably means we have to look at like 2030, what would be the number of vehicles, and if it 30% has to be there, how many electric vehicles we have to means bring it to the road, how much will be the electrical power consumption, and means in order to put that electrical consumption, what are the electrical infrastructure which we need to develop, and when we are developing this infrastructure, is it profitable to the distribution companies, and this electric charging infrastructures, what are the problems this means what say charging stations will push back to the utilities. All this needs to be questioned. Like 2015 itself, the world has invented electric, not even electric, purely solar based flight, and it has encircled the entire world. It has been in 2015. That means even now 6 years down the line, we are still thinking about the just an electric vehicle which is powered by means what say utility, which may generates 90% of the energy from the conventional fuels. Right, so I mean, so what to say, that's what there are some case studies which are already there, but the challenge is like means what to say, it is always easy to make up one or two or small numbers, but when we need to means extend that to means large populations, means commercial or economics is at most important. And having said like means this, the responsibility of the academicians is just not only to look at the research by means of eliminating the challenges, but also the major challenge what I personally feel like academic institutions and the faculties and of course along with the students has to aim at is like whenever you invent, ask yourself what's the approximate cost of it, and whether means what say this will be means what say has a value to the customer who is buying. Like means what say there is an always a saying, your capability depends upon like means what's the results your students produce, right? It's not the results what you are producing, it's what your students are producing. So my simple request to all the extraordinary professors is to means what say create a culture where the students can try out something in the electric vehicle, just not looking from the technical perspective but also from the commercial perspective. Means there are, I could see there are n number of colleges, n number of faculties, they are working on the electric vehicles, etc., etc. But when it comes to the cost or a commercial or a business model, unfortunately means what say that much clarity is not there. So it's probably means what say responsibility of the academic institutions to look at the other side also. You may not be able to win the race if it is extraordinary technical product, it has to also match the basic commercial viability. So that's the second important aspect which the academicians has to look at, and we will discuss more on when I'm coming to the technical part. But I have to conclude my means what say this address saying like teachers, professors are the future pillars of the world, and means what to say the technology, automation, IoT means what to say like means many things which we are talking means which probably means many people, including COVID-19, has changed the entire way how the business has to run. So the adaptability, right? I mean, so they used to conduct the sessions like this in a physical classroom, but now we are doing this in online, right? So such a faster adaptability has to be there across the spectrum to, I mean, so what say, to quickly enhance the students' skill so that they are just not employable, but also they are creating a job opportunities in the way to come. So with, I guess, like electric vehicle provides one such a massive opportunity. The next 5 days you are going to enjoy the sessions from eminent speakers and going to get great knowledge on this electric vehicle. Wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Don't tell people how to do things. Tell them what to do and let them surprise you with results. Let us welcome such personality, our beloved principal, Dr. M. Akila ma'am, to deliver the presidential address.
Yeah, good morning to one and all gathered here for the wonderful event sponsored by ATAL, AICT Training and Learning Academy Faculty Development Program on Advancements in Electric Vehicle Technology, a Paradigm Shift by the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. It's a great privilege for me to give the presidential address on this electric vehicle technology. This electric vehicle technology in India is a growing industry. The central and state governments have introduced so many schemes and incentives to promote this technology in our country. As of now, we are not able to see much changes in the electric industry, but many companies are trying to do innovations in two-wheeler and four-wheeler. While the country stands to benefit in a large way by switching its transport from IC engines to electric motor powered, there are challenges. Whenever there is a transformation, there will be challenges, and we are facing challenges as of now. The main challenges are the lack of charging infrastructure, as far as I know. Charging infrastructure due to its high initial cost and lack of electricity produced from renewable energy. So still e-commerce companies, we all know that e-commerce companies, car manufacturers, app-based transportation network like Uber, Ola, that kind of network companies, and e-mobility solution providers, they have entered into this sector as far as India is concerned, and are slowly building up electric car capacity and visibility. Many of my friends in my circle, they have not changed their car from the IC engines now, and they are not going for the new IC engine car. They are waiting. Maybe we all have understood that in another few years, we have to take up this e-vehicle technology to save the earth, to save our mother earth. So this is the right time that we Indians, and especially our students and institutional responsible persons, have to understand the need for electric vehicles in India for many other benefits. So I congratulate the EEE department, especially the HOD, Dr. Kumar Chinnayan, and his team for getting this sponsor from AICTE, and especially in this topic. And Selva Kumar, sir, thank you for accepting to be the first speaker. And I know him because he is the practical man, and he is now in power quality and doing wonders in his business. And he will be giving a great insights on how he can tell more about electric vehicles and empowerment of EV. So I wish all the best.
Pleasure.
Yes.
It's always my pleasure, madam, to come to KPR.
Thank you so much for your love and affection, and I wish the ATAL FDP to become a great success. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. I now request Engineer S. Selvakumar, sir, CEO, Power Projects, Chennai, to take over the session.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, sir. I will take up the session. Thank you so much. So, without further wasting time, straight away I'll go to the slides. Let me share. Once you are able to see the screen, please let me know so that I can go ahead. Sir, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. I'll keep this button intentionally in the bottommost to ensure my internet connectivity is still there. All right. So I always, start with this slide, at least for the last 4 or 5 months. The fact, because we are doing quite a lot of sessions on like FDP or STTP or whatever it is. The numbers has grown, but probably means the intention might have reduced. So probably means I just want to ensure and go back and tell some basics. It's applicable for everywhere. Once all villages decided to pray for rain, on the day of prayer, all the people gathered, but only one boy came with an umbrella. That's faith. And for sure means I assure, if you come with an umbrella for this 5-day faculty development program, you will get a rain for sure. So only thing like means you should have a faith, you should put time and effort, and definitely the results will be there. So I'm looking at like one small boy like this about 14-15 years back in 2006 when I have completed my BE. I mean, what to say, when I told my friends that I mean, what to say, in a long run, like I mean, what to say, I want to be an entrepreneur and I want to start my own organization and I have to, I mean, give a job opportunities to the young budding engineers, those who do not have an experience. Everybody laughed at me. And probably means what say I am looking back means what say from then like means what say I told them at least in 5 years time I will start the company, but I have started the company I mean what say the immediate year when I have passed out. Of course not really a full-time role, but I was working in some other organization and I have started my own organizations on evening 6 and probably means working on Saturdays and Sundays. So the same thing like means what say today our organization has grown to means what say to an extent comparatively to means what say have a good visibility. It's all because of the faith and the hard work what we have. So I mean I expect the same thing from the participants. I mean so to say to have a faith and probably means what say put up effort, spend some time. Definitely you will learn. So how many of you have a faith that you will learn something which is useful for your life with respect to the electric vehicle in this 5-day FDP? If yes, can you just type out faith in the chat box so that I can see at least how many of you came with an umbrella. If you have a faith on this 5-day program and probably to learn something which is useful for your career, please type out faith in the chat box so that I mean, what say when I come back to this chat box, means I will see quite a lot of faith, so that even that energizes me to I mean, what say take up the sessions. But that's what like I mean, what say it's not necessarily always the speakers those who decides the success of any program. It's the participants and the effectiveness of the participants, those who decides what's the success of this program. With maybe that let's straight away jump to this topic: empowering in EV in Indian roads, roadblocks and the way forward. That's what the topic. I will going to give you some quite a lot of numbers, figures, where we stand, where the other countries stand. Our electric vehicle, is it a truly electric vehicle, etc. topics. So whenever you have doubts, you can post your questions in the chat box, or probably you can unmute at appropriate time and interrupt me so that I will take up the questions. It's not necessarily always like you have to wait till the end of the session to post your questions. No, if you feel some questions, I mean, what say if you're able and convenient to type in the chat box, type it. I will take up the questions when I'm coming back to this means chat box. If you feel the question is really important, unmute yourself and post the questions. Absolutely, I'm okay to take up the questions along the session rather than means what say spending some time at the end of the session. So if you couldn't understand, or if you have questions, clarifications, or change in opinion or difference in opinion, I'm okay with that. So this is what we are going to see. Means very short introduction about us and overview of electric vehicles, where we stand, challenges in EV. When we say challenges, like I am going to talk more and probably means stressing more on this topic. Like that means what are the roadblocks which India is going to face with respect to the electric vehicles, and probably means what are the real challenges, but which is not really understood by the end user, and probably means what is the specific challenges to the electric vehicle, especially distribution companies, and how to overcome. And means what say how to empower this EV on Indian roads is what we are going to see. Yes, at least for this question, I think I can come back to chat box to look out some answers. You need not really means type out the answer full, but the question is here. In your view, what is the biggest challenge for EV in Indian roads? Right, as I rightly told, like means what to say. Yes, EV is growing. There is no doubt about that, but it is EV is not growing at the speed at which what we expect. Am I right? We have to accept that fact. Like means what say EV at least means what say past 6-7 years we are talking in seminars, webinars, faculty development programs, STTPs, conferences, many things. But means what say still means what say India is not really means what say with both the hands we have not really warmly welcomed electric vehicles. At least seminar and webinar we are welcoming it, no doubt about that. But on Indian roads it's not so. So if you feel like that. Means what say what's your view like the biggest challenge for an EV in Indian roads? It means if it is economic, just type out A. You need not really type out many things. I know means if you're attending from mobile, it might be difficult to type many things. Yeah. If it is economics, type out A. If it is control, type out B. If it is means what to say battery disposal, type out C, technology, business model, others, then you have to type out what's the answer. So I guess with this, I can come back to chat box to look at some answers. I guess, yeah, thank you so much. Like there are many people putting up the answers in the chat box. Many has a faith. That's great. All right. That's good. Okay. There are answers. C economics, option C economics, A, C. Yep, that's really good. Yep. So I guess the participants has also almost reached 100, right? 99 not out. Anyway, so I will go back to this. So means I have intentionally put up this just to understand. I mean, so say according to you, like how you I mean, so say interpret this one. Like most of you has answered it as a battery disposal. That's true with respect to the academicians. That's not true with respect to the person who is buying the electric vehicles. Right, XYZ who is not an electrical engineer or he's not an engineer who is buying the electric vehicle, do you think that means what say he feel like a battery disposal is a problem? No. So means why I'm telling, means what say the view will change depends upon the peoples to peoples, and probably means what say we need to ensure like all the problems from all the dimensions are addressed to ensure this road electric vehicles on the roads without any speed breaker, right? So that's what means we need. But all of these are challenges. Probably from different dimensions. Even business model is the biggest challenge. I mean, so to say, the business model is the biggest challenge. How we go with an electric vehicles, how we charge it. Means battery, whether it is the property of the owner of the electric vehicle or it has to be leased out or rented out. How it is. So means, so say there could be different business models which can probably means, so say fine tune and increase the sales in the short run as well as the long run, right? Okay. So let me go to the next one more question before I am jumping to the topic. Yeah. How many charging stations we have it in India, right? We are talking about the electric vehicles. Yeah, means talking the conventional engine, IC engine, without petrol pumps or diesel stations, correct? No, it is of no logic. Same way, like I mean, so say, without charging stations, I mean, talking about the electric vehicle is of not really making much sense. So means, can you just tell me, like approximately, not exactly like 879 or 10,053 or I mean 23,783? No, I am not really looking at. But approximately means what say in your view, like how many charging stations we have in India? If you know that answer, probably means type out answer in the chat box. I will try to answer means what to say. Yeah, don't know that's a beautiful answer. That's also a right answer, right? Yes. Slides intentionally I have skipped at 11:34, and I guess now you are able to see the screen. Yeah. All right. Good. Right, so I'm going to give you some answers along with some standard websites, and I guess still you are able to see my screen, right? I mean, my slide says like how many charging stations we have in India, and there is a black white. Hope others are able to see, or at least the screen you are able to see, right? Somebody has typed out the screen is not visible. Yes, can anyone just confirm I'm able to, means you're able to see my screen?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Fine. All right. So that's good. So this is about my journey. Like probably means I have to put power projects along the way from 2006 to till date, because that's the organization which probably means I have started working on evenings and Saturdays and Sundays from 2006 when I have completed my BE. But this is my industrial journey, like Enventure, PRDC, TCE, ABB power projects, and now I'm heading power projects full time. I left ABB 2019 August, right? I still put the slides to make sure, like what the things which you're supposed to know. Like many people are aware of like most of the IT companies. Like if I say TCS, everybody knows it. But when I call it TCE, Tata Consulting Engineers, most of us are not really aware. So if you aware of this company already, please type out the TCE in the chat box so that I can have a feel like how many of you know this company TCE. So I'm just giving a quick takeaway from this Tata group itself. TCE, I'm looking at there are plenty of core companies in the Tata group. TCS is very visible, no doubt about that. But if you take core companies like Tata Power, Tata Steel, Tata Projects, Tata Consulting Engineers, even Tata Elxsi to an extent, like embedded microprocessors and VLSI. So that's a core company for an ECU students and to an extent EEE students as well. So there are plenty of core companies, and if you take all these core companies are offering a much better salary than what TCS is offering. Like this core companies probably means what say fail to brand themselves, right? The companies which I am naming like Tata Power, Tata Projects, Tata Steel, Tata Cement. So means what there are plenty of companies, right? So means what we need to really look at the salary. Like Tata Power provides a salary of about I guess 9 lakh per annum. Tata Steel provides about 7.2 lakh as a starting salary for a BE freshers. Even if you take Tata Projects, it is 6 lakh. Tata Consulting Engineers, they are providing 5.4 lakh as a starting salary. All these things are comparatively better salary than what TCS is offering. So, like, I always strongly believe teacher should be a student always. So means what if you are in teaching, then probably means it's always means I request you to learn something new on a daily basis. I guess this could be a new information for you. If so, probably please pass the same information to your students community so that they can just look at the job even from their second semester or third semester itself in such a companies rather than looking TCS as the only option, right? And that's the only information which I want to see. Like, and probably means if you look at all these companies are working in electric vehicles, all these companies are working in power system studies, all these companies are to an extent great core companies. And probably means I have made some small Excel sheet when I'm going to the most of the colleges. When I say somebody says always it's difficult to list out or find out the core companies. So means I have spent some time to list out the core companies. If you want, I can share it. Nothing wrong in it. So list. I have spent hardly about 20 minutes or something to list out these companies, and probably means that the list goes to approximately around 250 or something, right? 228 companies. So this could be some basic research along with the students, the faculties has to do to probably ensure that they are placed at a better level for their better careers. Yes, right. So this is about our organization Power Projects. It's a small power system consulting organization. As of now, we have 38 power system engineers. So far, we have completed about 107 projects in 17 countries. We work across the sectors. We work in industries. So when I say industry, it could be a steel, cement, tire, paper, pulp industry, traction. That's including metros, airports, etc. And in fact, means doing the assessing the feasibility studies for the electric vehicle charging stations, etc. Commercial buildings, auditoriums, shopping malls, sports stadiums, renewables, wind, solar, battery energy storage, microgrids, conventional power plants like thermal, gas, diesel, nuclear, T&D, transmission and distribution, data centers, oil and gas. So these are the sectors what we work, and probably this is a very short introduction about our organization. I'm not going to spend any time on this slide. Means if you're an electrical faculty, EEE, and if you're basically is like power systems or power electronics, if you have an idea to go through the syllabus of power system analysis subject, this is exactly what we do. Like what we are learning probably in machines subject plus transmission and distribution in power system analysis is what we do as a consulting services. You may ask a question like how much money you will be able to make it just by means of doing a service when you do not have a product. So probably means most of the peoples have failed to understand what's the money which we can make in consulting organizations. Let me probably not all. Let me go through maybe few purchase orders what we are getting. That gives you an idea what's the value of the projects which we are getting. Let me start from maybe the latest one. Yeah. Yep. So 2,50,000 is an order value, right? And probably the jobs could be we have received recently, and probably the jobs could be completed in very very short span, maximum 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And probably I could say some other companies also along with the time they have given that's why I'm saying. So this is from GE, right? So that's probably you can understand the value. It's about 3,35,000. It's all probably a matter of 2 weeks jobs or a 1 week job. Yeah. So here you can understand 9,81,000. That's the price value from L&T. And probably you can look at when we have received, and the time frame is also mentioned 5th December which we have received. And the time frame deliverables, they will say it's provide the complete list of inputs carrying out the installation within 1 week, and it shall be not like, I mean, so we have to complete the job within 2 weeks. You can understand like installation coordination study within 2 weeks, correct? And probably means you can understand the value. So means why I'm telling this, because like most of the people always underestimate the service business. Like they always look at the this product business, and that means what say here you are selling a knowledge, so there will not be any loss. And probably means what's the only thing you just have to keep enhancing your knowledge. So means what is this is a list of purchase orders. I can open it one by one. I don't want to really do that, but I'm just trying to say like you can educate your students that there is a big opportunity, not necessarily in the product industry, but in the service industry also. As I look, our projects is a pure service-based organization, and only we are just selling our knowledge. And probably means what there is a good business which is there. Like even digital training business, like is estimated as a $325 billion business in India in 3 years to come. Imagine the potential which we have just for a training, not even for a service, right? So this is a software expertise which we have. I'm intentionally again putting this just to showcase to the academicians, stating that like look at what are the job opportunities which are available in the market. Like means, let's say after COVID-19, all the classes are happening online, and probably means we are not able to interact with the students in a physical way. We couldn't communicate what we need to communicate to them, and probably means everybody looking at the threatened or frightened, whatever it is like. But means also still opportunities are there, and probably means also just let me take quickly some example. Yeah, I think it's sad. Someone has commented. Okay, so I'm just taking means also some softwares from that list, and I'm just showing you, correct? So here list of softwares which we have listed out. Like means I have picked up this first software, ETAP, and if you look at the ETAP jobs, you can find out about 5,700 jobs in ETAP. Means if you know ETAP, means in India alone, in Nakuri website alone, right? There is about 532 jobs in Chennai alone if you know ETAP, right? Similarly, you can probably means also look at, I mean, what is it? All other software, something like that, you can try. There is about 3,232 jobs if you know dialects and so forth. So I'm leaving it to you, and the slide is already I have shared to the coordinators. So I mean, so you can collect the slides, and all this information what I have put it in slide is open. It is not like, I mean, Selva, it's a very confidential information. It is only available to the industry. It's nothing like that. It's whatever the information which I am sharing in next maybe 1 hour time is all open in the internet. Probably we need some some time and effort to probably identify where it is. Maybe it is easy for the industrial peoples to reach out that information quickly because of their network. That might be slightly difficult to the academicians. I'm not denying it, and of course that's a fact why such faculty development programs, basically they are inviting the industry peoples, right? So so means you can just, if you want, you can even take a snap of like what are the softwares which are available, like ETAP, Excellent Power Factory, and PSSE. ETAP, Excellent Power Factory, and PSSE. I mean, what do you say? The softwares are basically power system simulation softwares. PSCAD and EMTPRV, they are, I mean, so it's EMT simulation tools. Dialex is for lighting design, indoor lighting, outdoor lighting, sports lighting, street lighting. PVS is for a solar plant design, and this all for like a Homer microgrid designs, etc. And probably means what say, if you look at this capability, why like means what say why I'm stressing all the simulation softwares, I can probably means just go back to my mail itself. So like means what's the value of the training of this I mean what is this, today we are starting a session probably at 2:30 p.m. right? Yeah, so 2:30 India time, that's what we are starting on 8th, that is 8th February, and you can look at this price what we are charging, 44,000 per participants, right? And probably means what say the training duration might be in the range of about I mean what to say 40 hours, and probably means what to say 1,000 rupees per participants. The participants are ready to spend, right? Okay, so means what to say something like, I mean what to say, if you have developed a knowledge which has a potential in the market, and probably you can easily brand it in the digital world nowadays thanks to quite a lot of options, and you can probably means what to say make I mean for say much more money. I'm not really comparing the money, but what's the value which you are creating to the I mean the world, which helps the world to move to the next level. These are all our prestigious customers. These are all our few accomplishments which we have done. Like 1,500 megawatt solar project which we have done in Kuwait. This is an airport in Saudi, another airport which we are doing in Qatar now. This is a mall in Qatar. This is a wind farm in India. Two-wheeler manufacturing in India and Bangladesh. Food processing industry, Pepsi, that's like in Saudi. And we have done a first fuel cell project, a 2.5 megawatt fuel cell project in India, that is for an Intel R&D campus. And probably means what say we have done quite a lot of power evacuation studies for Malaysia. We are doing quite a lot of insulation coordination studies for Europe. So that's about us. Like means what say I'm not really means what say going to add like means last year we have won the best electrical consultancy services award 2020 from Corporate Vision, a UK based organization, offers this award based on the quality of deliverables and few appreciation letters from great organizations. So means why I am probably putting all this information because let me stop sharing the screen. Yeah. So why I'm means what say talking about all this things because means the market is so means dynamic now, and probably means the people those who are able to probably means what say capture the market, assess the market, will be able to really means what say go to the next level, right? So means what say if you have any questions, I'm happy to take the questions along the session. You can post these questions. I can take up the questions. Can I get your mobile number? I will share. Yeah. Good morning. I will share.
Mobile number and mail ID, sir.
Yeah.
Pursuing my PhD.
Sure. I'll post it. That's there in my slide also. So no worries. So I will share at the end of the session. No worries.
I have joined late, so I was unable to.
No worries. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? If you have any other questions, please post the questions in the chat box. I will take up the questions along the sessions. Like I have maybe 1 hour, 10 minutes more, right? 70 minutes. And this is the one last information which I need to ask you. Like, means if you already know about, means what say our power projects social pages, means then type out KNOW, which you mean when I mean like it's a LinkedIn page and our YouTube channel. If you know already, please type out KNOW. If not, type out new. Means why I'm stressing this because like means most of the videos in our YouTube channel probably bridges the gap between the academics and industry. I mean, what to say, like whether we have done it in solar plant design or the electric vehicles, or probably I mean, what to say, microgrids or power quality. So whatever the topic which we do, that exactly bridges the gap between what's going on in the college and how it has to be implemented in the industry. So since we are in that business, we thought of exchanging the knowledge. So probably means what say if you do not aware, probably means type out new. If there are many news, then there's a reason why I can post that link in the chat box. If not, there's no point. Okay, there are many news. Okay, so this is okay. This is our YouTube channel. Yeah, I guess you're able to see my screen still. Yes. So this is our YouTube channel. We have done quite a lot of videos like short circuit studies. If you're a power system engineer, try to understand this video from what we are teaching in the short circuit studies in the college. Similarly, on April 5th, exactly when the light off event called for our Honorable Prime Minister, on the same day we have done like how the grid stability during this light off event. So you can just go through this video. Similarly, we have done power factor correction part 1 and part 2. Power factor correction business alone making a huge money. Like means to say we have done a reactive power compensation or a power factor correction for 2 projects recently. One is the Renew Power, that's a 51 megawatt solar plant design. Other one is a Nagpur Metro. Like Renew Power, the project value is about 6.25 lakh, and Nagpur Metro, it is about 9.75 lakh or 8.75 lakh. That's the probably in the project value. So means what say that is means what say a simple concept with some simulations we have explained in this video itself. Power factor correction part 1 and power factor correction part 2. Of course, there is a probably means what say it could be slightly different from the academicians because academics, because like it's an application of what you are learning in equations to the real-time industry. That's it. So this is our channel, and probably means what say electric vehicles also we have done couple of sessions. Microgrid we have done, grid connected and standalone solar plant design we have done, insulation coordination we have done, power quality, renewables, wind you can understand, power system studies, real-time simulation for renewables. And I'm also doing an Ask Silva every Sunday morning 10 o'clock where you can post your questions and you can take it up. And coming Sunday in the Ask Silva, we have invited one of the eminent speaker from Australia, He's running some organization there, and he's going to talk about job opportunity for electrical engineers in Australia. Means yeah, I have shared that link in the chat box, and probably means if time permits in a later, I will show our LinkedIn page also. I mean that gives you reason why you need to follow, or probably means if you like if you synchronized with that frequency, then probably you can follow the channels. Right. So this point intensely I'm skipping some internship opportunities which we are giving for the students at free of cost. And probably we are planning some site visits also, including solar plants, etc. So I'll come to this at the end of the sessions, right? And probably this is completely free, which is available in our LinkedIn page also. So that's the reason why I'll come to this. Yep. So let's move on to the topic what we are talking about. So yes, let's talk about some simple image. I guess this image you might have seen a number of times. Right, when we talk about electric vehicles, this is the first image which you get even in Google search most of the time, right? So means the person who is using a diesel engine feels so dirty, and changing from diesel engine to an electric vehicle, and he feels so clean, and still getting electricity predominantly from the conventional fuels, which pollutes the world. Do you think that it make really sense? And second one, do you think that Indian mindset is this? Because most of the people use the same image for an Indian mindset also. Means 2 points which I am asking. Like is it make sense? If it is make sense, like moving from diesel to electric and consume this energy which is generated in the conventional which pollutes the world. Is it make sense? If it is make sense, like type out MS makes sense, just a short form, right? If it is not making sense, you have to write, maybe type out not, right? And probably I'm not really questioning about whether it is making a sense or not. I'm talking with respect to this Indian car purchaser, a customer who buys the car. Do you think that means he takes the decision because of pollution and using electric cars or electric vehicles? I don't think we have reached that sophisticated level, right? Either diesel engine or an electric vehicle. I guess Principal Madam has also talked about few of their friends they are waiting for the right electric vehicle to come onto the market so that they can buy. So why we are waiting? As of now, the electric cars are not commercially attractive, right? So probably that's another sense which we need to look at. We should not look at only from the pollution perspective with respect to the Indian roads. We need to look at the pure commercial perspective. What's the benefit which we can give it to the customer if he is moving from diesel engine to the electric engines? And from the pollution perspective, we need to also look at if we are moving from diesel to electric, what's the reduction in pollution that we need to essentially benchmark, right? So let me quickly come back to chat box just to look out any. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, now we are 100 NATO. Thanks for the participants. Numbers are increasing. Generally means when I'm going for a presentation, usually the numbers will come down. Okay, thanks. This is the first time I'm seeing that numbers are increasing. Thank you so much. So does it make sense now? When we are using an electric vehicles, that is powered by the fuels, conventional fuels, and there is a conventional power plants. And if you are replacing this with an electric vehicles, and this is purely powered by 100% renewable energy tariff. Okay, these are all probably, as I told, it's for countries outside India, but does it really make sense? Probably from outside India perspective, yes, it makes sense, but probably here in Indian mindset is not really reached till this point, right? I guess Kumar Chinayan sir has beautifully put up that solar price has drastically came down, right? And you may aware the recent bit the SECI has floated, for a long-term open access, they are selling the electricity which is generated from solar at 1 rupee 99 paise, right? 1 rupee 99 paise, they are selling the electricity for a long-term open access for 25 years. Imagine the entity who buys the land, construct a solar power plant, that means heavy capital investment. Despite of that, they are able to sell 1.99 rupees, that 1 rupee 99 paise per unit to the electricity boards, and they will wait for means what to say, bill to get it cleared, right? So means still they feel that that business makes sense. Like that means approximate their generation cost has to be much less than 1 rupee 50 paise, so that they make money or they make profit, right? If they are selling at 1 rupee 99 paise and if they are making a profit, that would be much lesser price. So solar price drastically came down, no doubt about that. But question is like, means what to say, its availability and means what to say, uninterruptible power supply if at all, if it is needed, right? So now probably means like, let me put up a question. I guess that's there in the next slide. Anyway, I will put up this question. Now when you are moving from here to here, or probably means looking at the slides, how much percentage of the electric vehicles are going to be fueled by pure renewables in India, and how much percentage of the electric vehicles are going to be powered by means what to say, conventional fuels? I mean, if I am putting any electric vehicle on a road today, on an approximate basis, how much percentage of the energy which we are going to use for the charging this battery of the electric vehicle comes from renewables, and how much percentage comes from conventional? Any guess how much percentage of the electricity comes from conventional and how much percentage comes from renewables? Yeah, you can use the chat box. You can use the chat box effectively if you know the answer, like approximately how much percentage. Okay, 60% conventional, 40% renewables, I guess, Jagdish. Okay, 8 hours to charge the electric vehicles. That's right. So probably we'll talk about Kritika madam, like how much hours it needs to charge the electric vehicles. Sasikala madam, I think 4% might be what you have given is like might be, I have understood it's the renewables. Okay, remaining 96%, 30. Okay, right. Okay, I guess probably the audience are engaged, and I guess the session what I'm delivering makes some meaningful or some small contribution to what you desire to learn. Thank you so much. I'm coming back to this. Let's really look at how much numbers. So for that, like me to say, we need to understand how much percentage of the energy today which we are meeting comes from the renewable energy. That's what we need to look at. Like today, electric vehicles in the road is not really heavy, correct? No, the percentage of the electric vehicles in the road is less than 0.5%. Having said that, like today, if I measure, how much percentage of the energy which I am meeting from renewables and how much percentage of the energy which I am meeting from the conventional, then I can easily understand. When the electric vehicle is growing and the electric vehicle demand is growing, so that total demand is growing, the renewable fraction will come down, correct? No, so that's how we need to extrapolate the graph for a future. Though the renewable is expected to grow in the future, but let's look at where we stand today. Like today or yesterday, if you have consumed like 10 units in your home, I'm just giving an approximation, like 10 units if you have consumed yesterday, how much percentage of the electricity in that 10 units comes from the renewables? That's straight away available in probably the websites. Like let me just Google it here itself. CEA, Central Electricity Authority. So this is one website which you can probably look at. I'll come to that website with the data. Like if you click this CEA, Central Electricity Authority, and if you click the installed capacity report, you will end up in this page which I have already opened. And if you click this to view, you can get it. And don't worry about it. I have shared the slides, and that has a directly a link also. So you will for sure you will get it. So nothing to worry. You just focus on what's the number or what's the information which I am trying to pass. So I have just tried it CEA. I'll keep parking this data, and I will come to the another information that may take some time to load. So I'm just giving POSACO, right? Right. Okay. So it takes some time. So that's the reason why I have just putting up this CEA and POSACO, right? So let me go to this CEA website. Let's go to the CEA website. Yeah, the front page itself says the story of November 2020, maybe 2 months old data. I'm not denying, but still makes a sense. Like this says, in the month of November 2020, how much energy has been generated by conventional generations and how much energy has been generated by the renewable generations. Here you can look at the conventional generation is 95.29 billion units, whereas the renewable generation is just 9.189 billion units. I guess that's crystal clear, and that says like how much percentage of energy which we are meeting how much percentage of the energy which you have consumed, probably not yesterday, maybe November month, is coming from renewables, right? 95.29 billion units, that's across India, and probably means only 9.189 billion units that comes from means also renewables. These are all billion units, right? 1 unit, you know, like that is means what to say 1 kilowatt hour. So this is conventional, this is renewable. So means also if you look at what's the total generation, then probably means also the answer is approximately slightly 100 plus billion units. And if you look at how much percentage is renewables, that straight away gives the answer here. Like means also only about 8.8% of the energy, only about 8.8% of the energy is met by renewables in the month of November 2020. That's about 60 days back, right? This is a monthly data. So if you want to look at, I mean, what say daily data, and probably means if you want to look at a data like yesterday, how much energy which came from renewables. So I'm just going back here. I'm just looking at daily report of 2021. Right, I'm just going to the data of day before yesterday data or yesterday data. Yes. So means also the report is published just today, 8th February, and the report is talking about yesterday data. That is yesterday data 7, right? So means what say it gives a beautiful idea. Like means what say what is the maximum demand met during yesterday evening 7 p.m. What's the maximum demand met for the entire day, right? And what's the total energy met in million units? That is 3620. So we will talk about a little more information. So let me use some more Excel sheets just to make you better, more understanding. Like yesterday, India met 3620 million units. Just yesterday, that is on 7th February, India met the electricity demand of 3620 million units. We know that means what to say 1 unit is 1 kilowatt hour, and probably means what to say if you want to convert this into kilowatt hour, million, we know that is 10 power 6. So this is the kilowatt hour of the energy which we have consumed yesterday. And probably means I don't want to put commas or this one. You can, if you are able to read out, you can really read out the numbers. So means whatever the energy which you feel like means what say insignificant, and probably means what say this is the energy which we have consumed across India yesterday alone, right? So this is lakh, this is crore. So 362 crore of units is the electricity which has been consumed yesterday alone, right? And this is for the whole day. And if I am dividing this by 24, that gives what's a million unit of electricity consumed on an hourly basis, and that also gives an understanding like what's an average demand of India. Like means India had an average demand of about 150 gigawatt. India has an average demand of 150 gigawatt on yesterday. That's the yesterday data which I am talking about, reported on today, and it's talking about yesterday data, and 3620 million units which we have consumed, and the peak demand is 150 gigawatt. But if you look at the maximum demand met during the day is 178 gigawatt, right? This is an average demand, but the peak demand, if you look at it, is 178.8 gigawatt. Why I'm saying the average demand says what's the energy consumed, whereas the peak demand is what's the infrastructure which you need to develop, and probably means if you're going with an electric vehicles, means what say average will not increase drastically, but the peak will increase drastically, and you have to develop the infrastructure for that increases the cost for the utilities. That's a precise point which I'm trying to say. So coming back to here, like at least we can understand informations like 3620 million units of the electricity which we met yesterday, and hydro, wind, solar, how much which we met, that probably means we can put up 3620 is the total, right? And I'm just trying to put it in the same order, hydro, wind and solar, right? How much units which we met, means we'll say 239, 138, 190. If I can share the link also, as I told, that's there in the my slide, which you can get it from the organizers, or probably means you can get it from me directly also. There is nothing confidential. All the information what I'm posting is directly open available in the internet. Yes. So you can understand like hydropower, the total energy consumed, the hydropower met about 6% of the energy, and 3.8% of the energy is met by wind yesterday, and solar is about meeting only 5.2% of the energy. Wind and solar together means what say we have met only 9% of the energy yesterday. That means if you have consumed 100 units, only 9 units came from wind and solar, and probably means what say only about 15 units coming from solar plus wind plus hydro. Remaining I mean what's the 85% of the energy, either you like it or not, it's coming from here, right? So means this is another interesting information which you supposed to know. Whenever you switch on the light or a fan or a washing machine, refrigerator, television, anything, just imagine like 85% of the energy which is used for anything, even when you are charging your mobile, means what say we are doing this to the world. Only 15% of the energy as of now today, including hydro, is generated by renewables. If you remove the means what's a hydro, approximately means what's in the range of about 8%. On an average, 8% of the energy is what we are generating from. So I guess this, yeah, only 8% of the energy which we are making from wind and solar, and remaining 92% from conventional, and probably means what's a hydro is about additional 8%. Like still, I mean, so approximately about 85% of the energy comes from thermal, diesel, coal, nuclear, whatever you call, which is a conventional fuel. That's the present status. Means what I'm trying to say. Absolutely, I support moving from diesel to the electric vehicles, but at the same time, we need to ensure, like, how much percentage of the energy which we are getting from the renewables also. If you ask me another question, is this completely clean? Is it renewable? Is it reusable, etc., etc.? That's a separate debate which I don't really want to enter into. But at least moving from here to here reduces the pollution. That's what at least we can claim. I guess this information is pretty clear. Like that's coming from this page, and if you want, I can post that directly in the chat box as well with a link. Yeah, I think there is a question related to battery charging. I'll come to that. I'll take up that question. That there is some slides which is there for me to talk about this battery charging time. Okay, all right. So I guess this is pretty clear. This is with respect to this. How much percentage of the energy comes from the renewables is about about 8%. But when it comes to the installed capacity, I guess you can look at the website like the CEA itself, Central Electricity Authority. You can go to the report. You can go to the monthly report. Some at the I guess second slide or third slide, I have asked you a question like how many electric vehicle charging stations are there in India. I'm not really going to find out the numbers. You find it out. Probably I can just share the link. Like you can go to the report, monthly report. Yeah, monthly report, electric vehicle charging stations, and probably this is the place. I guess that's opening. Yeah, fine. That's a place which gives like what's the number of charging stations. Number of charging stations are there in the probably in India, but probably it's a bit old data anyway. All right. So I am just coming to the interesting information like report, monthly report, and probably in installed capacity in India. So far what I have talked about is like I have talked about what's the energy which is consumed from different sources. Now I'm just going to talk about what's the installed capacity. This is a December 2020 data, that is 31/12. Means January data has to be available. Probably means it will be updated maybe before 12th or 13th of this month, right? So if you look at this, India has 3,75,000 megawatt installed capacity. I can probably post this information also chat box if you want. That's there in my slide also link anyway. So 3,75,000 megawatt installed capacity is what we have it in India as of 31st December 2020. That's about 38 to 39 days back. and out of which 91,000 megawatt comes from renewables. That's quite interesting. Like means what say, let me put up this numbers also. Maybe I copy this here and maybe paste it. So if you put like a total, means what say, we have an installed capacity of like 3,75,000 megawatt, 375, 322. This is in megawatt, right? And total renewable, if you look at total renewable is 91,153, 91,153, and probably means to say how much installed capacity is renewables as on today is about 24%. Right? We should not really confuse with how much energy which we are getting from renewables and what's the installed capacity in renewables. Installed capacity of renewable is about 24%. Installed capacity of renewable is about 24.2%. But the energy is only about 8% of the energy which we are meeting from the renewables. That's for obvious reason. Wind and solar is not available throughout the day. They are intermittent in nature, and the maximum plant capacity factor or a plant load factor of this wind and solar is in the range of about 20%. In the range of about 20%. Right. So this is the total. Let's look at like means let's say out of 9153, like means wind and solar is how much. There is a data which is available. Like solar is 37,464 megawatt of solar, and wind of about 38,624. Right? These are all in megawatts. These are all in megawatts, and hydro also probably means also you can list out means if at all if you want how much it is. That's here available like hydro, right? That is 45,798 megawatt, right? So all these numbers are directly available in the website just for your information. So what's the point which I'm trying to say here means also today the wind is about 38,000 megawatt, which we are expecting to increase to 60,000 megawatt by December 2022. Whereas solar is just 37,464 megawatt, and we are trying to increase to 1 lakh megawatt. That means in just 23 months to come, means what's the capacity addition which is going to happen in wind and solar is this much, right? So we are trying to add 21,000 megawatt of wind in 2 years, 23 months, not even 2 years now, right? We already lost January. 21,000 megawatt of wind in 23 months and 62,000 megawatt. Even look at this data. As of now, we have a solar of only 37,000 megawatt, and in just 23 months, we are trying to increase this solar by, to additional 62,000 megawatt, so that we can reach 100 gigawatt or 1 lakh megawatt. So means what say, this gives you an approximate idea where the job market is going to be, or why we have to focus solar or wind. And another interesting fact, like means when you do so, means what say this 3,75,000 megawatt will increase to means what say like 4,50,000 megawatt or more, right? Means what say this actually expected to increase to 4,75,000 megawatt, and probably means the difference, the entire difference is almost covered by the renewables. And when we are doing so, means what say we need to understand like what's the impact of the intermittent of this wind and solar is going to create. Means wind and solar is not continuous, not controllable. At least the down wind is not really controllable, right? So ramp up you can control, but ramp down you cannot control. So means what say when you have a huge like 1,75,000 megawatt renewable, that's what our plan. Like wind is 1 lakh megawatt, solar is 1 lakh megawatt, wind is 60,000 megawatt, and with that like 175 gigawatt, 1,75,000 megawatt we are expecting, that's from renewables out of 475. So that penetration you can understand how much we are expecting in 2 years down the line. That's about 36% from 24% today. Means what say our renewables will increase to 36.8%. Imagine the impact of what's the wind and solar which creates on the systems. So why I'm stressing this point, it's probably means quite interesting, and that's relevant to this electric vehicles why I'm talking. Answer is means what say when the grid needs to handle this wind and solar, this needs some energy storage mechanism to ensure that the intermittent resource is converted into a controllable resource. And that is predominantly only technology which is commercially promising today is battery energy storage systems, and the same battery which has to be used for the electric vehicles. So that's a real reason why, though probably means what say solar or wind or grid is not really relevant, I'm talking because we may not be able to handle 1,75,000 megawatt without proper energy storage. There are plenty of energy storage options are there. I am not denying, like pumped hydro, compressed air, or probably flywheel. Many things are there. But as of now, only commercially viable or attractive technology is battery energy storage. And the same battery, lithium ion, which we are talking in the large scale energy storage, is used for our electric vehicle also. So probably means to say that has a huge impact. And you cannot separate these two problems and look at independently. You have to look at these problems together, and then probably means what say we have to move forward. That's the real reason why I'm just putting it. I guess I have given enough information on the data so that I can further move on to the other topics. So one is the installed capacity, which I have talked about. Other one is like means what say daily basis, which I have talked about, and more links are there in my slide. Like this is a CA website, SRLDC, which I have not really talked about. You can take it up. Osaka, which you can talk about. Number of charging stations, I have given a link to find out the answers. And like a tariff, I mean, what say with energy storage, what I am talking, what's the price? That's the link which is available. So these are all some statistics, informations. I need not really talk all this, just to make you aware that this is what the present scenario is. I have given this. Yes, before I am moving forward, like any questions, I'm happy to take. If you have any questions, you can post it in the chat box, or probably means if you want to quickly unmute, yes, that's also fine. Maybe give me a pause for a minute or 30 seconds to have any questions. Yeah, you need not really waste your time in typing. You can unmute yourself and post the question. Okay. I understood that there is no questions. If everything is clear, can you just type out clear in the chat box or understood in the chat box so that I can have a feel like yes, means what say it's clear as of now. Can I get something at least? Yeah, thank you. At least Anu. Maybe shall I expect a few more answers clear or it's understood in the chat box? Because probably means what say this is a challenge always. Like means what say when we are coming in the virtual mode, right? Virtual mode is an opportunity because we cannot meet 100 people in a classroom, and probably means what say across the country is sitting in the classroom. But this provides an advantage. But at the same time, like if it is a physical, then probably from your eyes, I mean, what I can easily understand, like means whether you understood or not. But means technology is not so mature to understand whether you are able to get this information or not. Yes, thank you. I guess I mean what's the like whatever things which I am putting up, that's pretty clear, and of course that's so simple. That might be the reason it is so clear. Anyway, so let's see something which we don't want to see, right? But this is a fact. Like means we should have a courage to see like means what say something which we don't want to see. This is some numbers. Like this is the data which you can see in India. I mean, so say during April to November 2019, the electric cars which are sold, plus just 1,300. And probably means this is look at the data like 1920 financial year, right? That's before means what say COVID strikes. Like means what say we have sold only 1.56 lakhs unit of electric vehicles, and previous year it is just 1.3 lakh. So means what say for a country like India, 1.56 lakh vehicle for the one complete financial year is just nothing, right? And even beauty is like means what say 1.5 lakh units means 1.5 lakh. When I say units, it's an electric vehicles. 1.56 lakh electric vehicles sold in 2019 April to 2020 March. 1.52 lakh electric vehicles are two-wheelers, and we have sold only 3,400 cars for the entire financial year of 1920, and 600 buses. And if you look at that market, like previous year, like 18-19, we have sold 3,600 cars. In fact, that has been reduced to 3,400 cars, right? Whenever probably means electric vehicles, most of the academicians are trying to attempt for an electric vehicle in the car segment. And even probably means Kumar Chennaiyan sir has put up in his introductory note, like Tesla is in Bangalore now. Yeah, that's all great news. I'm not denying it. But we also need to understand, like, I mean, so say, what's our market is. Like means whether we are able to really make some commercial sense for the buyer who is buying an electric car. Means why this 1.52 lakh electric scooters or electric bikes has been sold? Answer is simple. Like means to say with the fuel price today, when I am charging at free of cost or a low cost electricity from my home, probably commercially makes sense for the two-wheelers, but absolutely not for the cars. I cannot rely on my home charging, and probably means I have to go with the means what say charging stations to charge it. It is not there in the quantity. and if not, then how to charge, how many hours which you need to wait. And I guess like somebody has put 8 hours, 10 hours. We'll see some slides are there. So that's the reason why probably means also electric vehicles are not really big on the roads. And this is probably means also we have to look at other fact, like there are about 750,000 units has been sold in the financial year 19 also. This is including e-rickshaws. Like means to say here the data when I say 1.56 lakh or something, means to say anyway link is there, you can take the reference when I am sending the slides, right? So means to say here it is including e-rickshaws. Means to say why generally means to say we are not really including this three-wheelers, because the three-wheelers are predominantly using lead acid battery. And probably means what say we can come to know the success of this three-wheelers only when it is running for a few years. But probably means what say lead acid battery life is too short, especially with respect to the electric vehicles. And probably means what say this may not be able to succeed in a long run. That's the reason why probably means that's most of the peoples are not really taking this into account. And if you want to means know more on this numbers, I'm leaving it to you to a website, or probably means I'll just show you some document before that. Yes, this is a monthly EV update from JMK Research in January 2021. If you want to understand, like say how many electric vehicles which has been sold and what's the price, who is the new market player who came in, what's the model which is launched, visit this website JMK Research Analytics, and you will get like say all this information. And every month they will update both for EV, PV, renewables, all this. And means if you register with their website, they will send this document free, right? You can go to their website and download also. If you give your email ID, they will send it this document every month to you at free, right? So you can see the content that itself give an idea. This is for a January report. What's the new product launch in the January they are talking about? And probably just 8 days, but they came up with a beautiful report much before that. What are the tenders which has been issued by the Indian governments, or probably means private sectors, with respect to the electric vehicles? How this electric vehicle sales trend, how many electric vehicles which we are selling, what are the policies and regulations changes, charging infrastructure, partnership, joint ventures, expansions, investment, other interesting rates, and global market updates. I guess probably means also they cover anything and everything with respect to the electric vehicles. I'm not going to going through this all the pages of this report. I leave it to you. If you want to understand the electric vehicle status, and this could be an ideal means what's the report which you need to get it. So when I say like new product launch, this is only for January 2021. Like how many products has been launched, they are giving. Means what's the market? Scooter, cargo, scooter, motorcycle. Which means there is no electric cars which came into the market January. That shows the picture. Like means there are about 8, right? 8 or 7, whatever it is. So the scooters which are there in the market, and none of the cars which came in, that shows like where the Indian market goes towards with respect to the electric vehicle. What's the range? What's the charging time? What's the battery? What's the top speed? What's the load? What's the motor? And what's the cost? Right? You can understand all this stuffs, and probably means from whom it's coming, right? And probably means more information, they will be happy to help. Like upcoming launches, what is expected, right? And what are the tenders? I'm not really interested in it. Yes, this is what probably means we need to look at the electric vehicle sales trends, right? EV sales means this is a monthly basis. You can look at the number. You can also realistically put it in the graph. You can easily understand the numbers. Rather than numbers, image talks more. January, February, March 2020. That's probably just slightly before the COVID strikes India, and probably means April we were in complete lockdown, right? And probably means also slowly recovering, and probably means also we are almost back. So that's probably means give some interesting insight, like how many electric vehicles which we are talking about, right? Means state wise, and probably means player wise. E2V, that is a 2-wheeler, and probably means 3-wheeler. So means who is the manufacturer who is selling. You can understand like Hero Electric is last 3 months he's at the top, right? So some information you can easily make some relationship from this. 3-wheeler cargo, 3-wheeler passenger, and they have not put up the car. You can understand the reason why I am talking about. Like means the entire year we are selling only 3,000 cars, so nothing to put it in the car segment, right? So you just go through it, and charging infrastructure, all these informations are available. Just type out this JMK research in Google, you will get it. Like JMK research analytics, our website is here, right? jmkresearch.com. And means what, if you go to the page, like they will ask your email ID and they will send this report, or you can download this report in their website also. Let me quickly see, like I had that somewhere. Yeah, here it is. Yes, yeah, jmkresearch.com. So means what you need to do is nothing. Like this is the website. Like means if you come to the report, means what's the electric vehicle or renewable, which you can look at, and probably means what's, if you give download, means what's like means what's, you can means what's look at and you can download. Like if you go to the EV sector, and probably means they will ask email ID, or probably means you can download this, say monthly renewable update January 2021. If you click, you will get this. That is RE. Probably you can download it, right? RPV also you can download it. So I'm just, I mean, what's it? If you want, I can post this website also in your chat box. Yeah, thank you. Someone has already posted. Thank you so much, Saik. All right. Yes, any questions? Probably means for say, still we have only 30 minutes more. So means for say, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and post the questions. Right? That's webcam is saying something that I am spying Selvakumar. Nothing is there with Selvakumar. Right. All right. So this is the information which I have talked about my introductory note also. Like means what, say electric vehicle not necessarily has to be a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler. This could be a flight, and that flight could be completely powered by a solar without consuming a single fuel, conventional fuel. That's not today's story. That's about 6 years back story. 2015 it started, and 2016 it's completed its journey. This is a link, and probably means what, say, I guess I have the video which I made it really ready because I mean what, say, my it's a completely solar powered means what's electric flight. So you can understand means what's, it started in means Dubai, and it came to Muscat and came to India as well. And it has gone to Varanasi. This all happened in the year 2000 means what, say 15, 16, right? Then via Japan it has finished its journey. And probably means what to say, why I'm stressing this, because means what to say, the complete electric vehicle is purely powered by solar. Even in a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler is a challenge, but they have made it with a flight also, right? And I was, I mean, what to say, with ABB by the time, and I have done small designs for this controllers and chargings for the battery energy storage and optimization of this PV for this project. That's how I know this project. It means, so you just, I mean, so say Google it. I mean, so you will get this. And anyways, I have shared this link also. Probably it can give some interesting insight, like, I mean, so say how the flight is purely powered by solar is flying in the sky. This is the second topic. Means what, this is the image I always love. Like means what, say, we always appreciate which we don't have, and we never ever appreciate which we already have. So if you ask me a question, means what's the best electric vehicle which you have seen in your life, I used to say this is the answer. 25 years back, I mean, what say, all our means what say entire traction in the railways are probably coal based. Now it is completely means what say electric based. Thanks to, I mean, so many cities, this could be like if you're in Chennai or some other cities like Mumbai, you can understand this. And now metro is also, means what say, doing a beautiful or fantastic job, right? These are all electric vehicles, but none of a single person talk about electric vehicle when means what's related to this. Means I'm just trying to stress, that's what, if we have something already, we will never appreciate, but we have to appreciate the fact that these are all the electric vehicles without consuming means what to say much of energy, transporting quite a lot of peoples without polluting. It is transporting peoples, and in addition, like it doesn't really need any batteries. Lithium ion battery, which we are talking, probably means I'm going to come to that in the little more slides later. When it comes to this lithium ion battery, means that is not reusable, that pollutes the land, correct? No, and the cost is extremely expensive, at least even as of now today, and you have to depend on countries like China to import that. And means what say, all these electric vehicles doesn't need that. So probably means we can give a big salute to this electric vehicles, and probably means I'm also looking at Means what say, why not construct a charging lane along the roads, so that means what say the vehicles can be powered along the road itself, rather than probably means what say putting this batteries and probably means what say worrying about like quite a lot, right? Instead of, if you have some charging mechanisms on the roads for even 2-wheelers or 3-wheelers, 4-wheelers, whatever may be the vehicles, at least in cities it works, right? So that really doesn't need a battery. That saves a huge cost. Could be an electrical engineer thought process, which can be, I mean, sort of say, made possible. Many people, when we have started this, also told that's not possible. But now we have completely replaced by coal engines with the or diesel engines with this electric trains. And let me give one more interesting video of this. This is the link. So I will go to that link, which I have already say open. So this is the hydrogen fuel cell train, which is running for the past 2 years. You can understand the video was there since February 2019. That means that's running more than 2 years. It's completely hydrogen fuel cell train, which is running for 100 kilometers in Germany. So only thing, cost is an expensive thing, but apart from that, I mean that's an amazing electric vehicle, and probably means what to say. Still, I mean, Germany is putting quite a lot of interesting research on this fuel cells, and probably means what to say. There are car manufacturers are putting their research on the fuel cell or hydrogen, but unfortunately, as of now, it is not really made a commercial breakthrough. And probably means electric vehicle is also not with a commercial breakthrough with electric vehicle lithium-ion batteries. So that's where we stand. Yes. Then what's the challenges? Means what to say? Needless to say, there are 4 big challenges for the electric vehicles in Indian roads. One is the price. When I say price, it could be 2 things. Like one is a capital and another one is running. What's the charging time? Many people have talked about this. Like at the beginning of the session, when I have asked some other question, but I could understand like charging time could be the key challenge. Means what say that that's well known to the academic world also. We will discuss all these 4 points. And charging infrastructure, where we stand. I mean, I have shared a link. If you looked at, means what say, even today, means India has less than 2,000 charging infrastructures. Imagine for the entire country, if you have only less than 2,000 charging infrastructures, how many electric vehicles which you can anticipate in the road, right? So the charging infrastructure developers are saying like, you bring the electric vehicle on the road, then we will construct these charging infrastructure. Whereas means the electric vehicle manufacturers are saying like, put up the charging infrastructure across the nation, then we will launch the electric vehicles on road. So, but nothing is coming. So that's where we stand today. And safety, that's a fire incidents that also we have to talk. That's at most another important fact which we need to really look at. Right. So means what to say. Let me move on. Yes. So let me come here, and if any questions, like I have maybe means what to say, few more things. Yeah, I think fuel-based, cell-based train. I think someone is also posted the link. Yeah, any questions? If you have, I can take out the questions, and then probably means what to say. I can move on to my slides. Still, I have quite few slides to go, and probably means we have 24 minutes left with us. Any questions? No need to really wait for I mean, sort of say, typing in the chat box. You can post the question straight away. You can post the questions so that I can unmute yourself, post a question if you have any. Okay, which mean like I have understood like there is no questions. Okay, all right, fine. So let me move on. Like when it comes to this first point, the price, we have to talk about 2 important aspects: vehicle price versus battery price. Predominantly, the price goes to this battery today, and I mean, so say, if so the case, shall we change the business model of selling only the vehicle, not really the battery, lease out the battery? Then probably means what say in the charging stations you charge over the period of this battery life. Is it make sense? Could be a business model. I'm not really denying it, but means what say, unless otherwise, if you bring this electric vehicle cost equal to or less than the conventional IC engine cost, you may not be able to make a big breakthrough. And probably that's easily reflected in the price of this market also. When I have shown this two-wheeler price, the launch, yes. So you can easily compare this scooter prices, right? So means the vehicle which is going at a 70 km per hour and the range of 100 km is in the range of about 1 lakh, right? And in addition to that, you will get some tax benefits if you are buying it, correct? So it makes something commercial sense, or probably means also it's related to an extent we are able to relate this price with respect to the means what to say normal conventional bikes, but unfortunately that's not the case with respect to the this cars. That's where the problem is. Like means what to say the first and primemost challenge what we need to address is the price. Do whatever you want, reduce the price so that it is less than the IC engine price or equal to the IC engine price, and then talk about the advantages. Don't talk about the advantages to Indian customers and sell at a higher premium price. That will never ever really work out. It has not even worked out for our projects. Like let me tell a frank story. Like means when we have started Power System consulting business, we have heavily focused on Indian customers, and means what say India probably means that's what it's all about the price. Then slowly we have understood a little later, and we have just gone outside, where probably means what say we are able to get the projects easily, close the project easily, both technically as well as commercially. India technically the projects can be completed, but probably not really in the commercial sense, right? So I mean what say Indian market, unless otherwise this electric vehicle price is brought down below this conventional vehicles, you may not be able to bring these vehicles to the road. So one solution is to sell only the vehicles without the battery at a lesser price, and probably means what say charge it, and during the charging sessions you can charge at a premium price or something. That could be one solution, or else some other different storage technology altogether. I mean, so say eliminating battery, but if you take fuel cell is another option which is available now, which is expensive than the battery. And shall we use lead acid battery instead of lithium ion battery for electric vehicles? Answer is no, because of the number of cycles the lead acid battery can withstand. Like if you put lead acid battery, every year you need to replace the battery in the vehicle. So whether it is advisable, answer is again no. Right. So this is an interesting fact. Like means what say many people has talked about it. Charging time. How much time I need to charge my electric vehicles? So means what say there are two constraints which you need to understand. One is the charger constraints. That means the charger rating puts a constraint, like how much hours which we need take to charge. Other one is the battery constraint itself. Like means what say irrespective of the charger rating is extremely high, the battery will take the power only at its predefined rate. It will not be able to accept at a means charger rate. It has its own limit. So means we have to look at this battery constraints. So somebody has told about 8 hours, 12 hours, etc. This also gives some like means what say how many hours of charging time, like 3.5 hours, 4 hours, 3.5 hours, 4 hours, etc. So here means what say they have just blindly given this data, like means what say 1.26 kilowatt hour lithium ion, right? This is 28 ampere hour lead acid, right? It's lithium ion here and all. They have not given the charging times. So one thing which we need to understand, like when we say charging time, if it is 4 hours, like if you put like maybe I mean what say 300 watt charger or 400 watt charger, 4 into 400, then probably means what say it is 1.6 kilowatt hour. So which you can charge this. So if your charger rating is, example, only 100 watt to charge this battery, then you may need like means what say more than 12 hours or 13 hours, which you can understand, right? So battery has a kilowatt hour rating, means my charger has a kilowatt rating. Like if your charger rating is much less than the battery kilowatt hour rating, then you may take quite a lot of time to charge. So they are assuming like means so say you have a sufficient charger rating to charge it, then they are claiming it's 3.5 to 4 hours. So let me talk a little more on this with an Excel sheet. The battery has a kilowatt hour rating, charger has a kilowatt rating, right? So if I'm saying like I mean what say the same example which I take, like I mean what say 1.26 kilowatt hour, 1.26 kilowatt hour battery, and probably means assume that I have 0.3 kilowatt charger. Then how much hours which I need? I need approximately 4.2 hours to charge completely, right? So means what say if I increasing say example I mean what say 0.5 kilowatt charge, then I need 2 hours, 2.52 hours. If I'm increasing to 1, then I need 1.26 hours. And if I'm going with maybe 2 kilowatt, then it is 0.63 hours. It goes on. So means that's it. This is hours to charge. But I may not be able to put up 5 kilowatt charger and claim that means I will be able to charge in 10 minutes or 0.2 hours. So why I'm saying this, because it is just not the charger constraints, it's also the battery constraints. So let's have a quick watch. There is an interesting video from an eminent organization on the flash charging. We will watch this video and we will try to find out the answer why. Yes, this might be the video which you might have seen many times. Yeah, I think that's not, yeah. Yeah, they are claiming that you can charge the battery in 20 seconds. Means also, I will share this link also. So means also I will probably take up both the questions, case and data. So means also if I go back to this video, yeah. So means what they are claiming is like with the battery swapping with respect to this previous organization that took about 2.5 minutes. But with respect to this flash charging, it is just 20 seconds. That's what they are claiming. Sorry, this is not the video. Yeah, this is the video. Yes. Yes. So this is the information which you need to watch. Like means what say they have a 600 kilowatt charger, and means what say they are charging for a 20 seconds. So let me put it this way: like 600 kilowatt is the charger rating, and 20 seconds is what they are charging. And probably by means of this, how much kilowatt hour of energy which they can add it to the battery is this much. 600 kilowatt into hour, you need to multiply so that you will get kilowatt hour. But you have data in seconds, so this is the kilowatt hour which you can add. So means what say by means of charging only for 20 seconds, even with a 600 kilowatt charger, means you will be able to add only 3.33 kilowatt hour to the battery. But you need to ask a question like means what's the battery rating of the bus? Correct? No. Here 1.26 kilowatt hour is the battery rating for a two-wheeler. Here means what's the battery rating of this bus? You need to ask. That's approximately 204 kilowatt hour. So means buses have a different battery ratings. Typical standard rating for the kilowatt hour battery rating for the buses is 204. That means logically means you are just increasing only about 1.6 percentage of the charge in the 20 seconds. Means this video might give you the, I think this has been circulated in n number of times or infinite times in the social media as well. So that's the reason why I'm telling, as an electrical engineer, we need to understand the difference. Like this is adding only 1.63 percentage of the energy additionally in 20 seconds, for which we need to put 600 kilowatt charger, that will be in crores, and we need to add the electric vehicle infra, means the utility infrastructure, like at least the 630 kVA transformer, 11 kV switchgear, LV switchgears, charging stations, etc. And the bus has to come to the same place to stop, because means if bus is stopping at a different place in a different days, like Indian roads, then this will not be useful. And probably means at a time it can charge only one bus, right? So probably means the second bus which is coming to this has to wait again to go to the charging place. And probably means this put up quite a lot of heavy infrastructure requirements on the electric utility. That's not really commercially viable. Imagine investing crores of crores and charging only 3.3 kilowatt hour, and probably means what's it, even if you charge per maybe 5 rupees, you will get only 15 rupees, right? And probably means what's the utilization factor is not really much. The utilities will not be able to get or make the money or make the investment for this, right? Technology may be a super technology, no doubt about that. That may work out for the countries in the means Europe, but may not be an ideal technology for an India. And even instead of this, probably means what I suggest is to go with means what to say, a simple option rather than going for such a charging difficult things. You go for trams where you can have an overhead line which doesn't need a battery, that continuously means what's powered by these electric vehicles. That could be the ideal option. That's about charging time, and probably means what's let's deep dive. So what I'm just trying to give some informations like buses. These are all data which is available, which you can go through. This from here, like where I have told like battery rating of the buses typically in the range of about 204 kilowatt hour, right? Charging time, all this informations. What's the price which they have compared? It's probably a bit old data, but still, I mean, so say makes some relevance to today's market. Diesel bus of 33 lakh or 80 lakh versus 2 to 3 crores. So nowhere near to means what say the market drive, almost 10 times costlier. And this is another interesting fact, like approximately what's the fuel cost, right? Means what say for a means what's a battery electric bus, it is 10 rupees per kilometer. Hybrid bus, it is 13 rupees to 17 rupees per kilometer. And that means what's a CNG bus, that is 13 to 20 rupees. And diesel bus, it is 15 to 23 rupees. So approximately at max, you will be able to save 10 rupees per kilometer. And for that, your capital investment, you need to compare like here to here. And the payback has to be looked at. As of now, means what say the payback, there is no payback period. That's the reason why that electric buses are not there in the road quite frequently. Like still government is encouraging, etc., etc. So means it's probably to an extent like a responsibility of us to look at different technologies that is not only means what's say technically superior, but also commercially attractive. So these are all different types and other stuffs. I still leave it to you. Like means what say, don't miss this book. It's kind of all this data for this one, all this are taken from the same book. Like it's about 88 some odd pages. Interesting book to read, that has came up in 2016 itself. It's a bit old. Even this images, yeah, all these images whenever you take, all such images, the source is that book, right? So means it's a pure battery electric vehicles versus means what's a plug-in hybrid electric vehicles where you have an IC engine also. So means if somebody asks a question like what's the energy or the consumed by the diesel engines and the battery electric vehicles to travel for 1 kilometer, this is a comparison. Approximately you need 1 kilowatt hour or 1020 watt hour to travel in battery electric vehicles per kilometer. Approximately for a diesel engine, it will be 3.6 times. So this is where the only one comparison where this means what say electric vehicle bus is far better. Like means what say its efficiency is at least 3.3 times higher. Like you can see, it consumes only 1 kilowatt hour versus 3.6 kilowatt hour for a diesel bus. And probably means what say losses has been given, like aerodynamic loss, brake loss, wheel loss, transmission loss, ancillary loss, engine battery losses, which you can compare straight away. It's like so say 2 kilowatt hour per kilometer. So efficiency is far better. There is no doubt about that. And probably means in the long run, you need to look at what's the advantage of reduction in the carbon dioxide and other stuffs together. So this are all probably means comparison versus battery charging versus battery swapping. That has been talked about in the video also, one-sided towards like a battery charging. But you need to compare like battery swapping also in the short run to make more electric vehicles on the road if the technology and what's the business model is supporting. Right. This is charging versus swapping. So maybe 10 more minutes. Let me stop and probably take up if any questions. I guess there are some couple of questions in the chat box. What's the prospect of autonomous electric vehicle in India? Yes, first we need to move towards the electric vehicle, then we need to look at the autonomous vehicles. Like electric vehicle market in India is a child, and probably means autonomous electric vehicle is a very, very small baby, just born baby, we can say, with respect to Indian market. I think so I guess that has answered the question. Yes, I mean, so it has just born. I am looking at this way. Like 20 years back, I mean, so the solar cost is extremely expensive. That doesn't have a market, but today we are probably promoting everywhere solar. So I mean, so electric vehicle is a solution. Not really today. Maybe 10 years down the line or 20 years down the line, and we are trying to do as quick as possible. That's what we are doing. Atta, I guess that has answered your question. Yogesh, why Indian government or industry not encouraging for research in fuel cell instead of electric vehicles? That's what I told. A quick comparison, Yogesh, that gives you answer. Like means what say 1 megawatt solar plant approximately costs 3.5 crores. I'm comparing power plant, but anyway, it still makes sense. 1 megawatt solar plant costs approximately 3.5 crore to 4 crore, whereas 1 megawatt 1 megawatt fuel cell project costs you 40 crores. That means just 10 times costly. Then you can understand like means why we are not promoting fuel cell. And even if you compare the cost of fuel cell cars with respect to these battery electric vehicles, fuel cell is extremely expensive. It is just not India. Even globally, the manufacturers from the fuel cell are not really, taking their research forward because of the heavy cost. That may reduce the cost in the long run, but in a near future, I couldn't see the cost coming down in the fuel cell. So that might be the only reason why we are not really going towards the fuel cell. Yeah, any other questions? I'm happy to take directly. You need not really waste your time in the chat box. Yeah, thank you, Yogesh. Yeah, if there is any questions, probably means you can put up. In the meantime, one interesting information which I have missed it, probably means during my session intentionally. That is about our LinkedIn page. If you have time, probably, yeah, means visit our LinkedIn page. That's my LinkedIn page. You can watch. This is our organization page. Like we used to do quite a lot of sessions for the college students at free of cost. That's a one slide which I have probably means not talked about. This is the one. So we have done quite a lot of initiatives for the students to develop their career, and means we personally felt difficulty to recruit the students immediately after the college campus because of the skill what is needed for a consulting services, and probably the students level, those who are coming out from the colleges, are extremely different. Then we have started training the students from second year onwards. Like last year we have trained about 750 students, and this year we have a target of 2000 students. This everything goes like a free, and you can just look at this registration link and the students can register. Like let me share that link also in the chat box. Like before that, let me show what we have done and what's the outcome of that the training what we have done. Yes, this is a training which we have done for college students, and in fact that training is done only by the college students, those who are trained by us. Means what is it, from power projects nobody has spent time, and this is what the outcome. A guy who has designed the lighting design for conference hall. There are some questions you can, yeah, you can understand. This is what the outcome. Even the registration link is available here itself. Like means for the students, those who willing to join internship, like we offer the internship at free of cost for those whomever come in if they are students. But only constraint, like we have like 1,000-hour training program, 50 numbers of 20 hours each. First 20 hours will be free, and after 20 hours we will keep some assignments like this video they need to prepare, or probably one report which other student has prepared, which I can just open up. So such things we expect the students will give some assignments, and if they make through, or probably if they put some time and effort, they will be able to easily make into that. And if they do that, we will take to the next level. Like we are spending our time, efforts, energy, etc. So this is the report which is prepared, and you can download here itself in the same link. And probably means what say I can just open up that report also. Like means that's about means what say about 40-odd page report which is prepared by one of the student of completely talking about how to design grid connected and solar plant design. The same report is there in the LinkedIn page. Like means you can download. Means LinkedIn is probably giving an access to download this, and this give you from the scratch how to download. And she has put up an additional report also in her LinkedIn page which you can watch. And only thing like what say when the students are putting efforts, then probably means we continue that journey like what say 50 sessions of 20 hours each, which includes like totally 1,000 hours completely free. But we expect some report. What say some outcome from the students also. Like means if you want to look at this I can post it in the chat box so that you can encourage your students to register for this. Yes, there means the link to register for second year, third year, final year students is there in that particular which I have said also. And you can just follow our power projects page for some updates which is coming like that. And of course, we are doing a paid training for the industry participants. I'm not really denying it, but when it comes to the academicians, we are we can understand like means that we are doing as a social service. Like means our training is expensive. I'm not denying when it comes to the industrial participants. Like it is $300 US, $500 US dollars, and other stuffs. Right? I'm not denying it because that's the value for them. But for college students and academic peoples, we are doing it free. But we expect them to respect the value which we are adding. That's the only thing. For that, we have an assessment. If you pass through that assessment, we are giving next opportunities. Right. So I think I'm on time. So 1 minute left with me. Any questions? I'm happy to take. And if not, somebody has asked my contact number and email ID that was there in all the slides, I guess. Still, if you feel that's needed, I can share that also. I guess that's it from me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting. I don't have any words like to KPR giving me an opportunity, not from now, like 10 years back. So thank you so much again and again inviting and giving an opportunity to share the little what I know to the academicians. Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you, sir. Participants, if you have any queries, you can ask your queries. Sir, I think there is no queries from the participant side.
Thank you so much.
On behalf of the organizing team, it's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks. My heartfelt thanks to our speaker, Engineer S. Selvakumar, CEO, Power Projects Chennai, for enlightening us with the battery technology, charging station, composition of power generation, and also few websites for EV statistics. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time. I also thank all the participants for your participation. Thank you all. So our next session starts by 2 p.m. The platform and the link will be provided in the WhatsApp group. Thank you all. Sir, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, madam. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.